Hey guys, how you doing? Ben Barreto here with eXp Realty. I just wanted to do a quick video presentation and talking to you renters out there. If you're renting a home, if you're renting an apartment, either way this content is directed at you. The first thing I want to touch on this is these two percentages you see represented in this graph. They are Americans that were questioned by NeighborWorks America in a survey about home ownership. 81% of Americans believe that owning a home increases a person's financial stability. 61% of them feel they are or would be less successful if they never owned a home. How correct are they? This chart shows the personal wealth of homeowners versus renters. As you can see, the blue line represents homeowners, and it's increased quite a bit from 2010 to 2016, while the renters line, represented by the red line in the bottom, has remained flat. Why is that? When you own a home, your net worth is directly tied to the real estate market. And whether or not we have a recession, property values will always go up over time. They might dip due to economic circumstances, but over time, they always go up. Why? Because there's a finite amount of land to build homes on. Yet the human population will continue to grow, and as it does, demand for homes will always increase over time, no matter what. Here's another quick chart to show the difference in personal wealth, or in personal net worth. This represents the amount of money, cash, or liquidated assets, which is total wealth, available to both homeowners and renters. There's a big difference there, huh? Another way to sum the gap between the homeowners and renters is this. A homeowner's net worth over time grows 45 times faster or greater than a renter's. And that's because a homeowner's net worth is directly tied to the property that they own. As a renter, what do you own? It's furniture and electronics inside your apartment, plus a car, maybe a couple cars. I mean, it doesn't, you could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And a homeowner that makes half that money but owns a home is still going to have more money than you, or more wealth than you, when you bring in the factor of home ownership. This is a quote from the chief economist of CoreLogic, Dr. Frank Nothaft. Homeowner equity increased by almost $871 billion over the last 12 months. That's the largest increase in more than 3 years. This increase is primarily a reflection of rising home prices, which drives up value, leading to an increase in home equity positions and supporting consumer spending. Basically, what he's saying is this, that in the last 12 months, the market or home values have increased faster than they have in history. And if you want to be a part of that, you need to be a homeowner. Here are some quick points on owning a home. The 5 financial reasons to buy. Housing is the one leveraged investment available. Home ownership allows households to amplify any appreciation on the value of their homes by a leverage factor, meaning when you own a home, you can pull the equity from that home that's built up over time through appreciation and through paying your mortgage down, and you can liquidate that and use that money. You can also leverage that as down payments to buy other things, or even buy a second home or investment property. You're paying for housing whether you own or rent. And what they're saying there, homeowners pay debt service to pay down their own principals, while households that rent pay down the principals of a landlord. So, in short, if you're renting, you're still paying a mortgage, you're just paying it for someone else without receiving those benefits. Owning is usually a form of forced savings. Having to make a house payment one way or the other, owning a home can overcome people's tendency to defer savings. So if you own a home, whether you're good at saving or not, over time, you're paying down that mortgage, the home's appreciating, and that gap in the middle of what you owe and what the home is worth is available to you to use. There are substantial tax benefits to owning a home. Homeowners are able to deduct mortgage interest and property taxes from income. Just another reason to own a home. The tax benefits alone puts more money in your pocket every year than if you're a renter. Owning is a hedge against inflation. Housing costs and rents have tended over most time periods to go up at or higher than the rate of inflation, making owning an attractive proposition. And that brings me to the next and the final slide, which we'll talk about in a second. But first, let's talk about this slide right here. Just kind of goes to show you how much home you can own, depending on what you pay for rent each month, and if you want to keep those payments the same. So, say if you want to keep your mortgage payments under $1,000, back in 1985, you could own $1 million home at 11.26% interest. I don't know why those slides are in there for those other things. Let's pay attention to the last slide because that's now. At $1,000 a month, you can own. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. In 1985, at 11.26% interest, you could own a home a little over 100,000. Nowadays, at 4.16% interest, you can own a home at $999 a month that's worth $205,300. How would you like to have access to $205,300? And the longer you wait to access that money, the more money you're going to have available to you. And the last slide I was talking about, I want to leave you guys with this. As property values increase, so does rent. The difference, however, is rent will grow at a much faster pace because of the fact that landlords need to make money on top of their mortgage. This chart shows you the increase in rent over time starting in 1988 and going until 2017. That's like Mount Everest right there, guys. That's insane. If a little man stood on top of that and fell, he would die rolling down that crazy hill. I mean, the thing with owning a home is if you have a mortgage and best of all, if you have an interest rate that's locked in for the life of the loan, your monthly payments are never really going to change except for those outside the mortgage, such as utilities and things like that. But as far as your mortgage, it will never change. You don't have control over what you pay each month in rent. You just have to sign a new lease and pay whatever they want you to, or go find another place to live that's likely going to provide less room, less quality of life than the place you were at. Because as you try to stay in that same price range when renting, over time, you're going to have to lower your living expectations because rent is going to increase. And unless you can stay with that increase, you're going to have to, your quality of life is going to depreciate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, so I hope you found some of that information interesting, helpful, and most of all, I hope it motivates you to decide to move beyond the renter at a stage of your life, because we've all been there, and move on to home ownership. There's so many good reasons to own a home, and very little good reasons to rent. I mean, the only positive side of renting is, if you travel, you have short leases. Uh, Other than that, there's no financially good reason to rent. And even with the traveling part, there's easily ways to get around that as a homeowner. You know, rent your home out while you're gone, um, and even make some income during that time. You can't do that with an apartment. You know, so with that being said, if you're a renter and you're in the Knoxville area and you'd like to learn more, reach out to me at 865-978-6360. I work with some lenders, really great lenders. Some of them specialize in first-time home buyers. And really all of them are knowledgeable enough to give you great service and help answer your financial questions. And I would be more than happy to answer your market questions and show you around town to look at homes that you can buy with the same money you're currently spending in rent. Alright? Well, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good one.